I'm LJ. I'm an admissions officer at RISD. I'll be kind of hosting today's event and doing some question and answer moderating once we get to the end. We'll be doing a little bit of a presentation about pre-college, and then, as I said, we'll get into question and answers. So there is a Q&A chat box function. If you all would use that to type your questions, we'll be answering some questions throughout the presentation and then some live. So again, use the Q&A chat box function that can be found at the bottom, kind of in your toolbar, likely in the middle section of the toolbar. I'll pass it on to my colleagues to introduce themselves, and then we can get started with our presentation.
Hi, my name is Maren Brennan. I work in admissions, and I am here to support and help with the questions in the Q&A chat box, as LJ mentioned. While it's great that you're letting us know where you're tuning in from in the regular chat box, I'll put some links in there that will be helpful relating to pre-college. But any questions you have, just so they don't get buried, as LJ said, please put them in the Q&A chat box, with just a few icons to the right of the regular chat box. And I will pass it over to my friends in pre-college.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Christina Byrne. I am the Associate Director for the Student Experience, overseeing our pre-collegiate programs, and my colleague.
Hi, and I'm Kamiko. I am the Associate Director of Youth Programs and RISD's Continuing Education.
Yeah, so we're going to get started talking about both our pre-collegiate programs, which are our pre-college program and then our advanced program online. When it clicks. So our both programs follow a college level curriculum in a format that works for you, whether you're coming to the residential summer immersive program on campus or attending online year round or in the summer as well. And I'll pass it off to Kamiko, who's going to start with our advanced program online.
Awesome. Thank you, Christina. And we can jump straight to the next slide. There you go. Advanced Program Online is our year-long intensive that has a mix of live Zoom sessions and pre-recorded content on demand. Advanced Program Online students use research, material explorations, and peer feedback to develop a college admission portfolio. During the live meetings, you'll engage in discussions with your peers and your instructor and receive feedback on your work. Outside of class, you'll access the learning management system Canvas on a daily basis to watch recordings and to access other online resources. You'll learn how to make the most of your space at home to complete your assignments, and since it's an online program, you'll learn alongside students from all over the world. You can actually stay right on that slide. Yep. Advanced Program Online is structured into two phases. First, students will learn foundational skills and essential fundamentals. In experiential drawing, students use a combination of observation and interpretation to create dynamic drawings. In exploration and design, students expand their repertoire with the design elements and principles. After completing those two courses, students move on to the concentration phase. In the concentration phase, you'll choose a featured topic, which allows you to immerse yourself in deep study of that medium. These are more intensive than the fundamental courses, and you can expect to spend about 20 hours per week on a concentration. Featured topics are paired with a liberal arts course called Visual and Critical Language. That class features virtual museum and studio visits to foster discussions about contemporary issues in the arts and the role of the arts in society. Students who complete all 4 courses will receive a certificate. Next slide. Advanced Program Online is open to youth ages 15 through 18 and grades 10 through 12. Students who are rising sophomores and who will turn 15 within 3 months of the course start date are also eligible to participate. Beyond that, the program is open to all, regardless of your experience, training, or skill level in art. There is no admission test or portfolio requirements. Advanced Program Online is an excellent alternative to anyone who's not able to participate in the residential program. From the comfort of your home, you can develop the work ethic it takes to succeed in college. It's an invaluable experience that helps students build their portfolios, develop their work ethics, and demonstrate commitment to their creative practice. And all of those strengthen college applications. So now I'll share more about Pre-College. Pre-College is RISD's 5-week residential program for teens. Over 500 creative, highly motivated youth from around the world convene at RISD every summer to attend. It's a 5-week program where students live just like RISD students do, staying in RISD's dorms, attending classes in the same rooms, and using many of the resources available to RISD students. Our students and their parents describe pre-college as a transformative experience. Not only will you be going to class, but you'll also learn how to manage yourself on your own. You'll attend classes 5 days a week for about 40 hours of work each week, including homework. You'll feed yourself, do your own laundry, and explore the city of Providence with new friends. You'll also leave with several pieces of work that can be included in your college application portfolio. Pre-college is for juniors and seniors ages 16 through 18. We do not have portfolio requirements and we accept students of all skill levels. That said, our students are very serious about art and design. Many of them are considering or already know that they'll apply to art school. If you're someone who's not confident in your art skills, this would be the best place to increase your confidence. Just prepare yourself mentally to be surrounded by talent. We also boast a diverse student body with students coming from 35 different states and 23 countries in 2023. About a quarter of our students are from outside of the United States. RISD prides itself on being an inclusive community to all genders, though we have a bit more women identifying students than man identifying, with women representing 65% of our students. Last year, about 1 out of every 5 pre-college students identified as non-binary or gender non-conforming. This is who you'll be working with. You will challenge, inspire, and encourage each other to push past your limits and produce your best work yet. RISD's teaching philosophy centers around the idea of what we call critical making. We don't simply learn the right way to use materials or create an object. We enjoy the creative journey and allow our plans to change. Your instructors will push you out of your comfort zone and challenge you to think conceptually. You will learn to ask yourself questions about what you're making, why, and what you can do with your materials that hasn't been done before, or at least what you might not have tried before. And that's because our goal isn't just to make artists who can make the perfect piece of art. Our goal is to nurture creative thinking skills so that you're equipped to make positive impact on the world. Our educators are just as dynamic and diverse as our students, coming from a wide range of disciplines and experience. They include practicing artists, degree program faculty, and creative researchers who use their practice to generate new knowledge. Some of our faculty have returned again and again for over 20 years. They've helped countless students build strong portfolios that helped them get accepted into art and design schools all over. Other instructors are brand new, bringing with them a fresh perspective and new ideas. Each class will also have a teaching assistant. These are current RISD students who can share their perspective about attending RISD. All of our instructors and TAs are here because they're passionate about supporting your growth as an artist. Drawing skills are essential for working in any visual medium, and it's a critical component of college admission portfolios. Drawing Foundations is a space for you to develop your power of observation and to strengthen your ability to express an idea visually. Traditional and non-traditional materials and methods may be used to encourage expressive and conceptual possibilities in drawing. Most drawing at RISD is done from observation, not from photographs, and we sometimes work with live nude models. Design Foundations is where you'll really have dedicated time to develop your ability to think conceptually. If you apply to RISD, that's exactly what your application reviewers will be looking for. They want to see that you're not just picking the first idea that comes to mind, but that you're taking that experimental approach to develop your ideas further. Projects in Design Foundations may include both 2D and 3D design concepts. And this is also the class where you'll learn about color theory. Students build on their foundation work by choosing a major. This year we have 22 majors ranging from film and video to glass. This is your opportunity to have a concentrated experience working in one medium. Majors are filled on a first come, first served basis. And this is why when you apply, you'll be asked for your first, second, and third choices. If you have your heart set on a particular major, we encourage you to apply early. We encourage students to try something that you've never tried before. A well-rounded portfolio helps college applications, and this is a perfect opportunity to try something exciting and new to you. But no matter what your major is, you'll walk away with a depth of experience, advancement, and artwork. If you enjoy working in two dimensions, here are some of the majors. If one full day of drawing every week is not enough for you and you'd love to spend 3 days a week really honing your skills, you can do that in the drawing major. If you've never tried oil painting before, or if you want to improve your oil painting skills, you can do that in the painting major. This is our most popular major, and we offer 4 sections of it this year. Illustration is our second most popular major. We also offer graphic novel, which is a form of illustration. In digital photography, you'll get to access some really special equipment in our pop-up photography studio. If you're interested in branding or marketing, or if you like to play with text, typography, abstraction, graphic design would be a great fit for you. And printmaking is where drawing and graphic design meet. It's often used in activism since it's an inexpensive and impactful way to get out a message. Maybe you've done plenty of 2D and you'd like to see what you can do in 3 dimensions. Try one of these. Create functional and sculptural objects in ceramics, create a garment in fashion design, build a model of a building in architecture, try a variety of 3D methods and tools in sculpture, create small metal sculptures in jewelry, build a model of an interior in interior design, and try something that very few people ever get to do in glass. If you really want to get experimental, there are other majors that aren't limited to one medium and may even include the 4th dimension of time. Show your playfulness in animation, show your depth in film, or show your passion in art and activism. Test out ideas in art and science, design a better human-centered world in industrial design, create experiences in game design, and tell stories in textiles. In addition to the 3 studio courses, you will take 1 liberal arts course. In critical studies in art, you will read and write about art and learn how you can interpret a piece of art within the context in which it was made. You'll visit the RISD Museum, where you'll use visual thinking strategies to speak and write about objects from the museum's collection. You'll analyze what you're seeing using the visual and tactile evidence, as well as cultural and written evidence. It's a chance to gather inspiration from what's done before and maybe what hasn't been done yet. Pre-college culminates in a series of student showcases on the last 2 days of the program. There is one exhibition where every student will submit work, and one combined exhibition for drawing foundations and design foundations. This is a chance for the pre-college community to see what everybody's been working on. This is where your families can come see what you've accomplished and get an idea of the range of work and ideas that have been underway during your time away from home. And each of you will have one piece in the majors exhibition. Only a selection of students have work in the foundations exhibition. After completing the program, you'll leave with portfolio pieces that you can use in your college applications. You'll have your transcript and a certificate of completion. You'll be able to request a letter of recommendation from one of your instructors. And after the program, you'll be invited to have a 15-minute virtual portfolio review with our admissions office. This is a great chance to hear from the people who review applications directly, reflect on what's successful in your work, and think about what you want to improve on as you prepare for your college applications. As you consider applying, here are some things you should think about. Pre-college is a full-time commitment of 40 to 50 hours per week. You will not have time for other obligations like SAT prep, sports, or summer employment. At RISD, the emphasis is on handmaking and conceptual development. This means that you probably won't use much software, if any at all. And that can vary depending on the major. Animation, for instance, uses some software, but the animation techniques focus on hand drawing and stop motion. Critique is at the core of every studio art course. It's where you give and receive feedback on your artwork and the work of others. This is not a space where you'll simply hand in something to be graded. You'll explain your creative decision-making, and you'll have dialogue with your instructor and your classmates. This is one of the most valuable and oftentimes the most exciting part of studio classes, and you'll get the most out of it if you're interested in what others have to say. As a practicing artist myself, I always want to hear what people have to say about my work, because sometimes they see things that I don't and give me insight as to what sets me apart. And last but most importantly, you can expect to be a part of a creative community of other dedicated artists just like yourself. Alumni of the program tend to say that the community was their favorite part, and many students walk away with new lifelong friends. About half of pre-college students tend to apply to the RISD degree program. In 2023, 21% of pre-college alum were admitted into RISD versus 13% general admission. So our students do see an edge. And that is my overview of pre-college and advanced program online. I hope that helped paint a better picture of what our programs are. And I'll pass it to Christina to tell you more about what pre-college life looks like outside of the classroom.
Thanks, Kimiko. Yeah, so I am now going to share a bit about life outside the classroom and what that looks like. So students will certainly work and live like a college student, like a RISD undergrad. You will be staying in the same residence halls, utilizing the same areas, spaces, common rooms, the dining hall. There's a sense of independence that comes with this program. Students are living in res halls independently. There are resident advisors on each floor, but students are expected to be able to wake up, get ready, and make it to their classes on time. Students will participate in orientation and move-in weekend. That's on the Saturday of the program, the first day. Everybody comes to campus. We come together to welcome you. We share all the different resources. There's a lot of exciting things, lots of people to talk to and meet on that first weekend. And then we do student orientation that takes place over 2 days. That weekend will also include a campus tour to make sure that you are able to navigate and find the different buildings and rooms that you need to go to prior to classes beginning that Monday. It's really an opportunity to immerse yourself in campus life and community. Our residence life teams, as well as our student support office, really try to create a community around the program, making sure that we are, supporting students as they're going through these very intense classes and, you know, meeting new people, living on their own for the first time. We really, you know, even as a commuter, students are able to stay on campus up until curfew. There's a lot of activities happening in the res halls, in the, you know, outside of Providence, lots of free things happening in the summer, lots of festivals, events. It's really a small enough city that you can really immerse yourself and get the most out of a local walking community. And obviously connect with peers from all over the world. As Kimiko said, we have folks from all over, and they all, you know, are here for a common creative journey. And that lends a really beautiful community that we get to be a part of. There is on-campus dining, so students, you know, have 3 meals a day and then some if they need to, you know, access food at different times. We have the mail and package room, so students who may need to ship things ahead of time, or as you're working on, you know, you're just living your life and you're wanting to order things from different online stores, you have that ability to have access to the mail room. And there's also the fitness center. So when you're not too tired from climbing the hills of Providence, there is a fitness center that has, you know, different cardio machines, weights, dance room, you know, yoga mats, things like that. And students do have access to that in the evenings and weekend. So the residence halls are made up of single, double, and triple rooms. Accepted students will have to complete a housing application, and that's where you're able to select your preferred room. Single rooms are reserved for students who may require accommodations. They are very limited and do cost a bit higher than the double and triple rooms. You have access to common study areas, recreational lounges, and kitchens. Students are able to, you know, come together in those areas. There's work rooms that students have designated for working on assignments and a homework. Each community does have a resident advisor. That is a residence life staff who is living on the floor. They do, you know, weekly floor meetings. There's curfew check. Students do have to be in their rooms on campus, not necessarily in your room, but you have to be in your building by curfew time. And that's something that our residence life team takes very seriously as students are minors. That curfew check is a really crucial point for us, making sure that your student is safe and where they're supposed to be at night. There's also laundry rooms available. So if students want to do their own laundry, and that's great. And there's also a drop-off service where students can pay an extra amount of money and your laundry gets done for you. There are also trips and events that are planned by the Student Support Office. We have on-campus activities, so that could be events happening, you know, in the quad area. Maybe it's walking tours in town, you know, things on campus just to, you know, kind of take you away from the, you know, the stress of being in class all day and having all the work that you're doing. We try to do a lot of things on campus to just bring students together, get a little break, get some, you know, creative inspiration, you know, whatever needs to happen for students to keep going, right? We do weekend trips around New England. So those will be established later, closer to when the program starts. But past trips have included trips to museums, trips to the farmers market, Newport. We definitely go to the beach because Rhode Island is full of beaches. So those opportunities exist. We also have community events that are happening on campus, happening around the local Providence area. And then, as Kimiko had mentioned, the program ends with exhibitions, and we also throw students an artist ball, which is basically an artist prom, an artist dance, where, you know, we encourage students to dress up, get creative. We have a DJ, photo booth, all that. And it's a really great way to celebrate all the accomplishments of the term and just let loose and dance with bubble machines. So wellness and safety is our top priority for students. Students do have access to campus resources such as health services, counseling and psychological services, disability support services, and academic support. And those are all on campus to serve, as they are, right? You can go see our nurses on campus. You can make appointments with licensed mental health counselors. We certainly encourage students students keep in place their regular support systems that they may use at home, that they may use throughout the year. Pre-college is not the time to, think that you can just like maybe stop, any type of self-care that you do, any type of therapeutic relationships that you have. Being in a new place, experiencing a new city, state, culture, being away from home, that can create a lot of feelings, emotions, and we really want students to feel supported while they're here. So whether that, includes accessing our services or keeping services that you have already in place with your at home, it's really important to do that. And that includes any type of academic support. So any type of learning accommodations that students may have with their home schools. It's really important to make sure that you are connecting with our disability support services team for an intake appointment prior to arriving. You may think that you don't need it since it's art, because maybe it's something you're really interested in, you get really focused in it, but it can be very overwhelming to be immersed in the classes that you are taking during this pre-college time. So again, it's important to keep the support resources in place that work for you throughout the year, because you'll need them when you come to pre-college as well. We also have what's called RISD Rides, which is a shuttle bus service that's available to students in the evenings. Although the RISD campus is pretty small, it can feel a bit spread out, especially after a long day of working in studios. When it gets dark out, maybe you are, doing some late night work. We have that service from 5 p.m. through curfew to make sure that students are able to get back to their residence hall safely. Even commuter students can use it if they are on one part of campus and need to get to the next. You simply use our app, you request a ride, and then you show your ID and you're able to access that service. We also have our public safety team who is available 24/7. They are also stationed right in the same area where all the pre-college residences are. And they're a great resource for us and really do a lot to make sure that our campus is safe on a daily basis. Other campus resources that pre-college students have access to are the Nature Lab, the RISD Museum, the library, the RISD Studios and equipment, and then on-campus computer lab. So many of these places you may visit during your classes, but things like the RISD Museum, you're welcome to go to at any time, and it's free of charge with your pre-college student ID. So that could be a place where you want to go when it's 98 degrees out and you need some relief from the heat and just want to hang out. The Nature Lab is a really cool place. I don't believe you can go there just on your own. You would need to go with a class or possibly make an appointment, but that's a place where you can see a lot of different, animals that you can draw from, a lot of different live and not live animals. And then also like a really, really cool, just really, you have to look it up. It's a really cool place. Yeah, so a lot of on-campus resources that students can use, just like the RISD students use all throughout the year. So if you haven't already applied, maybe you're thinking to apply, this is how you do it. You go to our website, you set up an account, and then for students who are applying directly, it does require a parent guardian signature and a response to 3 questions. And then if you're applying for a scholarship, which the deadline is February 8th, so that is coming up, There is additional information that you have to provide, such as a letter of recommendation, a transcript, tax returns, and recent pay stub. And I believe that needs to say 2022 tax returns, so my apologies. And that is our contact info. Please don't hesitate. I think we have time to answer questions here today, but as things pop up, as you do a bit more research, please don't hesitate to contact us. We're happy to answer as many questions as we can to be sure that you're making the right decision and that you feel informed and comfortable with the choices you're making. So I think maybe we are going to open it up to questions. Yeah.
I can take the first question. I see someone's asking if our programs are also a match for those who are more science oriented. I actually get that question a lot. Design, it can be very science oriented. We also have a major called art and science, but there is a lot in the design area that can be a great fit for those who have more of that direction. We do have architectural design, interior design, industrial design, and art and science. Those could be really good places to look at.
Great. I can take the next one about majors. So some majors can fill up. I would say students who applied in November, December likely filled up those majors. And the wait lists do move. I can assure you the wait lists do move. I will also say about majors that if you see one that's not the one you want to pick, really consider doing a different major. Consider that, you may not have access to the same equipment or materials where you live for another major. And this may be a great opportunity to explore something new and something that may, help to create a well-rounded portfolio. So I wouldn't be too focused on majors. Architecture is filled. It is filled, right, Kamiko? It's architecture. I think if it's not filled, it's very close to being filled. But you can certainly, again, you can go on the wait list for that. You can also consider a different major and then check back, as we get closer to the program. Things do happen. People aren't able to attend after they commit. And we do see movement on the wait list. Your daughter applied 12/24 and hasn't heard anything. We're still actively going through applications. So I'm confident you should hear back sooner than later. Yep, so next question. So there is no application deadline for regular admission. The scholarship application deadline is February 8th. Majors are first come, first serve. And the average turnaround time, I'm saying about 3 to 4 weeks is what you can expect for a turnaround time. And, we were closed for winter break. So anything that was submitted while we were on winter break may have not been, really received until early January. So you should start to hear, within the month, within 4 weeks, I would say. There is financial, we don't have financial aid for our advanced program online, but we do offer scholarships. There is a scholarship section of the advanced program online website that I can pull up in a second. But yes, there is aid available for that. How many participants are commuters versus campus house? So we don't have a large number of commuters. In the last 2 years, we've had between about 15 and 20 commuters, give or take. I feel like maybe one summer was 13 and then maybe a different summer was another teen. But so there are a lot of residential students, but we find that a lot of the commuter students really kind of jump into campus life. They're allowed to stay on campus till curfew. So that's 10 p.m. when on school days and 11 p.m. on the weekends. So it can be sometimes a nice balance. So 16 by the end of July. So yes, whoever is 16 by July is eligible for our programs. You do need to turn, for pre-college, you need to be 16 by October 1st. Your student can certainly do pre-college and the online program. Yes, eligible for both. So RISD does not manage any medications. Students who need to take any type of medication on a daily basis would need to be responsible for that. Residence halls do have refrigerators in them, and our health services team will certainly discuss any concerns you have, but they will not manage any medication or store any medication. It would be up to the student to manage that. But accepted students will receive information from our health services team, and you can absolutely consult with them and make sure that you have all the information that you need to, make that decision. Students are not housed specific to their major. The housing application includes a very thorough questionnaire that students can share information about themselves, their daily habits, their interests, and the residence life team works from that information on the questionnaire to pair students up. So it's certainly not by major, but could be a chance that you're both in the same major, or there's more than more people in there. If you take APO in the summer, would it make sense to attend an in-person course in a future? The material is not redundant at all, and the advanced program online is still quite different from the pre-college program. The residential component is much different when you are living on campus and in person, using the studios, attending all of the different events and things like that. But the material would not be redundant. Art supplies are not provided. Students do need to purchase their own art supplies. Each class will come with a supply list that will be provided to students in advance of the program. We do work together with the RISD store to provide students with the option to purchase a supplies kit, which can include some starter materials, starter tools that you would need. But students do need to purchase their own. And as the program begins, we find that students do purchase more, materials each week when they are working on assignments. I'm going to let Kamiko answer this one.
Was this the how many projects there are? Okay, yes. That depends on the instructor. I would say that you work towards one large project throughout the 5 weeks, but you also do several activities along the way to help you get to the point where you can make that final project that will go into the exhibition. So there's not an exact number, but in general, each major will have anywhere between 2 and 5 portfolio ready pieces. But in addition to portfolio or completed pieces, you'll also have some other exercises and sketches that can also be included in portfolio. Yes.
All right. What is the acceptance rate? Kamiko, did you have our last year number? We don't. Yeah. So I think that we had figured out that about 60% of the students who apply have gotten in and attended. But that, don't quote me on that. But there's a pretty good chance of getting in, if you have your the right material, the right submission, you have everything complete, answer the response questions fully. it's a pretty good rate to getting in, I would say. What majors are already full? So I'm actually looking for that as we speak. And it's surprisingly kind of far up in my chat, but I know, okay, the following majors are full. This is as of a week ago: animation, illustration, and painting. Architecture has filled, and then there's a few that are close, such as fashion design, film and video, and industrial design. But that doesn't mean anything. You can go on a wait list. They do move. And again, I would definitely consider folks to think about doing a different major. If you know that in your your home state, your home area, that you can access a lot of let's say painting or illustration materials, like think of something that you may never have access to. You may not be able to do unless you were, at RISD. So definitely don't be too concerned about the major. Oh, I think we answered that one about turning 16 by the end of July is totally fine for our programs. What is the recommended grade or age for students? Yeah, so students for pre-college, rising juniors and seniors who are 16 to 18. For our advanced program online, rising sophomores, juniors, and seniors, ages 15 to 18. There is no deadline for our pre-college application unless you're applying with a scholarship, and that's February 8th. And then our advanced program online deadline is the week before the class starts is the deadline. So since it's online, we're able to open registration a bit later. I'm just going to keep going. Yeah. When is the housing selection open? So April 4th is when accepted students will start engaging with the housing application. If you have applied to a major that has filled, so you would still get accepted and you'd have the opportunity to select a different major. What does the film section of the program feature?
If this is about the film and video major, they make short films and they do storyboarding. But if there's anything more specific you were wondering, feel free to add a little more into the chat.
Yeah, I'll just keep going along. So for the year-round program, how are kids able to manage as it's 20 hours per week? So for the, if you look on the advanced program online site under the academics tab, there is a time commitment page. So during the fall and spring terms, students can expect to spend a minimum of 5 hours per week engaging in course material. So if you're only taking one fundamental, in addition to the live session, you can expect to spend 5 hours per week. In the summer is where we say that students will spend 20 hours. That's because they're not in regular school. So that time commitment is 20 hours. So it's 10 hours per fundamental and then 20 hours during the concentration. And I hope that answers your question. Please feel free to add in more if you would like more, but we really try to base the academic year program is not as much time, and in the summer when we expect students have more free time, there is a higher contact hour piece. Is there a way that students can pick their preferred roommate? So our residence life team does not take roommate requests, and they tend to not room students who may be from the same school. If folks are, showing up as going to the same school, they really want an opportunity for students to, meet new people and, be immersed in what college life is like. But if you and your preferred roommate have all of the same interests, you might get lucky. Can you apply for the both residential and online program using the same application? No, you can't. Pre-college program is a specific application, and then our advanced program online is more of a registration system. So you're able to register directly on our continuing education student portal, whereas the pre-college application is a much more formal process, and you have to wait to be accepted. Yes, during the summer, you have access to the cafeteria, and it's very good. Some of the best chicken fingers I've had in my life. And it is opened 7 days a week, 3 meals a day, early in the morning, somewhat late at night. So plenty of food. Students can have visitors to campus. You do need to complete the visitor section of your housing application, and you need to identify each of the people that will be visitors. Visitors must be 16 and older. And visiting hours are before curfew. So all visitors need to leave at curfew. So there's anytime curfew is not in session, you can have visitors, but it's important that those visitors are listed on your application. And then you do have to go to public safety and get a visitor's pass. We take, again, the safety of our students very seriously, and we don't want random people just accessing our campus. You applied in December and there was no section to pick your major. So I'm not sure how you would have applied without selecting a major, but if you email us at precollege@risd.edu, our application specialist can get back to you with an update on whether or not you picked a major. So give us an email, Sophie, and we'll check on that for you. Yeah, so can you talk about how kids are looked after in terms of substance use and abuse? Are there rules that will result in expulsion? Yes, so we have a set of student code of conduct policies and residence life policies that students all will sign off on and have to follow. We are an alcohol and drug-free campus, so there should not be any of that on campus. But you know, in the event that something like that is found, it would likely get reported right away. I've been working on this program for a couple of years now, and it's pretty. I think that students are really honest and really care about their safety and well-being and their experience, and they don't want to be in a position that jeopardizes that. I think a lot of students recognize the privilege that it is to come to RISD. And again, we take the safety of our students very seriously. We have a very strict curfew policy. The RAs, the public safety team, are walking the halls. They're, you know, it's there's a lot of people around who you know, will be looking after these students and questioning their behaviors and actions and things like that. And there's absolutely expulsions can happen. They do happen, again, because we do take safety very seriously. We have access to support services on campus, including Title IX, which manages any type of discrimination, sexual assault, any type of abuse. So we definitely have the policies, procedures, and support components in place to make sure that students are safe. And we have an extensive orientation where we make sure students are understanding of that and that they are good community members, and will make sure that if they see something, they say something. If something happens to a student, they feel empowered and ready to speak up, again, in the interest of safety and having this experience. All right. Do you recommend choosing different majors if taking both online and... Kamiko, I'm going to let you answer that from AWU, maybe?
Yeah, we generally encourage our students to try new things, especially if you are able to take a program twice, definitely expand your horizons. Portfolio reviewers like to see diversity, but also just it's a great way to make the most out of this opportunity to try something you wouldn't be able to try otherwise.
Great. Your daughter applied and the major is full. Will she receive a notice? So if she applied to her major, she may not be on the waiting list and she may get it. That's another one I would recommend emailing precollege@risd.edu and our application specialist can take a look in. He's really helpful and make sure that students get a clear picture of kind of where they stand as, with majors. So he'll be very helpful. So just send an email to precollege@risd.edu. What is the deadline of withdrawal for a full refund? That is an excellent question. And I can look that up in a second, and maybe I'll answer some other questions while I get that up. Is there any preference given to applicants who will be entering their senior year? There is not a preference for seniors over juniors. I'm just looking for. Can a student register for? So, I'm not sure if Wayne's question, maybe Wayne, you're talking about the advanced program online. Kamiko, could you maybe chat about if they can register for anything or they have to do the advanced program online in a sequence while I look for the refund policy?
Yeah, so advanced program online, there's the 2 fundamentals courses. Those just need to be taken before the concentration courses. And that that concentration phase consists of 2 classes that are taken at the same time. So what students do, you can either start in the fall or the spring. And both of those fundamentals are currently in 2 parts. So start in fall or spring. I would definitely recommend starting in the fall. That way, if something happens, you can't complete it right away, you get a backup chance to finish that fundamentals before going into the summer concentration.
Great. So I did type the refund. So on or before April 30th, you can get a 100% refund minus the deposit. So there is a $1,000 non-refundable deposit for pre-college. And then after, so if on or before April 30th, 100%, after that, it gets lower and lower. I did put that in the chat though. You're attempting to apply and the application says there's no application types available. So I would recommend going back to the pre-college homepage and selecting apply now to make sure that you are following the track for the pre-college application and not one of the RISD admission applications. And I see, okay, so how many scholarship students? So we, last year, I want to say gave about 18 scholarships, full scholarships between 18 and 20, depending on students who accepted. So we do get to support a good number of students, and that is a full scholarship with a partial covering of supplies. Yep, and that deadline's February 8th. Yes, you will be notified if you don't get into pre-college. Yes. I can talk a bit more about housing. Students are housed in the quad, which is basically the center of campus. It's on the more of the top of the hill. And the classes mostly are down the hill. Some may be on the middle hill on Benefit Street, but I would say, a 10 to 15-minute walk max from the residence halls. The RISD campus in Providence, it is very much a city, but I find that the area where RISD is right next to Brown. And during the summer, Brown University also has thousands of pre-college students. So you will see that there is a strong presence of not only RISD's public safety team, but the Brown University Police. And we do a really good job in educating students, I think, to how to, maintain their safety and be vigilant when they're out. We do have RISD rides that allows for a safe shuttle service to get students from different parts of campus. So we definitely take their health and safety, very seriously. And it is still a city, but it's a city that, our campus is quite large next to the Brown campus, and the community does a lot to try and keep that area safe. And again, we do a lot to keep students informed and busy in the right spaces so that they can make good choices. How does the program balance giving college level independence and growth while keeping the minors safe? Yeah, so I think our curfew check is our main point. So every night we are doing an actual getting eyes on your student in some capacity. And if we don't have eyes on your student, we enact missing student protocols until that student is found. And during the week, Monday through Friday, those check-ins also happen during classes. So students have to get, if a student is not in class, we have that missing student protocol as well, and we don't stop until the student is found. On the weekends, that curfew check is really the point of landing, eyes on your student. But again, we do a lot of, our orientations. We do a lot within the residence halls to make sure, again, that students are busy, that students feel safe where they're going, that they can make good choices. And we find that a lot of students really take this opportunity and program seriously and don't want to jeopardize their, jeopardize their experience and their future. So I think that students balance it pretty well, and we have a lot of folks dedicated to helping with that growth. Regarding, so the APO sessions, so the 5 hours engaging in coursework, that's in addition to the actual Zoom sessions. And so the live sessions are 3 hours per week for the spring session. Yep, so online program, it's 3 hours for the spring term, it's on the weekends, Saturday or Sunday. For the summer term, it's during the week.
Yeah, and then just we're almost at 7 here, so just maybe for the sake of time, we can take one more question. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to look to see. There is no report cards that we send to parents. I will say that we do send newsletters and keep in touch, but there is no structured support. Students absolutely can have their phones. You can apply for a scholarship if you have been accepted. Make sure it's by February 8th. G4 visa holders, no. So our scholarships are only available for students, domestic students. Yeah, so yeah, I do want to be cautious of time. We are so happy to answer your questions. Please email us, precollege@risd.edu. Please call us. Our number is there. We are open every day, 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're so excited that you have all these questions. That means you're really wanting to know so that you can make a great decision. So please email us. We are so happy to answer and talk to anybody and make sure you have all the information you need.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christina and Kamiko, for presenting all about pre-college. It was so nice to hear everything about it. And thank you all for tuning in tonight. Again, we'll be posting like a recording of this on our RISD YouTube page. So if you want to come back and take a look at some of those questions and the presentation again, you can do so there. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, night, whatever time it is where you are. I hope you all have a nice one. Bye.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Summer.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.